Great to see you again here at Highbury, and great that we're supporting CHIKS, Children's Homes in Kerril Estate for Christmas.
Thank you.
Tell us about your involvement, how it all began.
It's now 20 years since it all started, and how it started was that for some years in India I'd known this nun, and we talked about starting an orphanage. The home that she was running for disabled people was going to be closed, so she had the opportunity to do something. And so suddenly in 1996 it all happened, and we had our first few children. Suddenly 20 years have disappeared.
If it's been going for 20 years, that means the children that you started with must have grown up and approaching adulthood. So what do you do to support those children as they approach adulthood? Can you tell us some of their stories?
What we aim to do, because we give all the children a good education, is to be aware if a child shows some aptitude in a particular direction with some training or a career in mind. It's not often that we have an academic child, a really good academic child, because all of our children come from such dire backgrounds that they really are very likely to have a practical sort of career. But when they do move on into independence, we keep an eye on them. They want to come back to the home. They're in touch with us, we're in touch with them. And we have at the moment several of our original people over the first 2 or 3 years who are in nursing or in accountancy, in administrative positions, that sort of thing, or they've gone into trades like carpentry and building and so on. But they are earning a living, and at last, in those cases and subsequent cases, the poverty cycle has been broken.
That's wonderful, isn't it? And it's good to keep in touch and for them to keep in touch and feel part of that kind of extended family.
It is.
I know one of the themes that you've been working on recently is kind of sustainability and ensuring that there's a kind of self-sufficiency in those homes. Can you tell us a little bit about that project?
Well, it occurred to me that years are running by and I've got to be planning for the future. Despite my earlier belief, I'm not indestructible, so something is going to happen. I have simply got to be aware that I won't be able to run CHIKS with the same energy that I've used previously. So the answer is to think sustainability and to introduce ways in which the homes can look after themselves rather more, not be dependent on Western funding. So the result is that all the homes have some sort of sustainable projects now moving and developing, and these include creating cowsheds with modern technology, hybrid cows for better milk and more of it. Hybrid animals will cost me £500, £600, £700 per cow, but it's worth it in the long run, and we can develop milk products and that sort of thing. But also polyhouses of a gargantuan size in order, with temperature control, that we can provide food, fruit, veg, all the year round. And it's terribly easy to run these things. We can just have a couple of people patrolling inside the polyhouses, and we don't have to have a big farm staff, which is what we've tended to do. You know.
And so it's great for us at Highbury to have a personal link with you through Sue, who with her veterinary kind of experience has been involved a little bit with setting up some of that project.
Well, the fact is that Sue and I met many years ago when I was just starting this, and I didn't know then that she was a professional in the veterinary world on farms. So with her commitment and her help over the years, when the major home, the one that's busiest with about 300 people in care, decided that they would have a farm within this acreage. I decided to call it Susan Farm. After might have been called Richard Cleave's farm, or it might have been Highbury Farm. But she is so pleased about that.
Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it?
Terribly
Yes.
well deserved. She's wonderful.
Excellent, excellent. Well, our prayers, thoughts are very much with you. Christmas approaches and on into the future, and I know how important prayer as well as giving is to the whole project.
Can't live without it.
Wonderful.
Thank you
very much, Robin.
Thank
God
you.
bless.